Good morning. It's going to be a bit of a technical one this week. I've had lots and lots of requests to compare this beautiful BH, which I've been loaned, with my Orbea Gain. Now, I think it's a little bit pointless because they are absolutely chalk and cheese. They're at opposite ends of the e-road bike spectrum at the moment. This BH is the 2024 version. It's got a mid motor with 65 Newton meters of torque, and it's basically the best that the industry can do at the moment. The Orbea Gain, on the other hand, is it's a 2019 model, but it's no different from the but it's no different from the 2017 original. This is full carbon. My Gain is aluminium, so it obviously has a bit of a weight penalty. But in terms of their specs, they're quite similar. They're both running full Ultra, even though this one is Di2. But what we're going to do, we're going to take it around a circuit, the same circuit, and I'm going to tell you where they each have their strengths and weaknesses. And they both do have strengths and weaknesses where the other one does not. The biggest difference, of course, is how the power is delivered and how much power there is. The BH with its mid motor is capable of producing more power and more power on steeper climbs. The Gain with its hub motor provides less power and is not very good at the steeper climbs. However, the systems, normally there would be a weight penalty on the mid motor, and it's only because this one is so absolutely brand spanking new that BH have managed to get around the normal weight penalty that you would have on a mid motor. So the course I've chosen is quite a short one. It's only about 25 kilometers long, but at least it means I'll be able to do the two rides quite easily back to back to give you a much better impression. And really, it's an impression. That's all I can give you. I can't give you empirical data on this because there are too many variables. Not least me. I might be feeling all right at the moment, and later I might be feeling tired, or this morning I might be feeling one way, and this afternoon something else. However, it's got some long drags, which kind of suits both bikes quite well, but it does have a couple of nasty climbs, one of which is 14%, which I'm hoping will sort of show the effect of the motor on me, whether I'm more out of puff on one than the other, and also how I must use the levels of assist differently between the two systems. So we've only just started and we're on one of the long drags. It's about just over a kilometre at 6%, and I'm expecting both bikes to be perfectly fine on this sort of a climb. So I've got this BH in the lower setting. What I'm going to try and do is use my heart rate monitor to give some sort of equivalence. So I'll try and keep my heart at 125 beats per minute with each bike. So we're just getting to the top of this climb. I don't like it, I've never liked it. It's 7% at the top, but I'm in the lowest setting on the BH. My heart rate is dropped actually, so I've not been pushing hard enough. It's 121 now. But that was, completely okay. So immediately, one of the biggest differences, it's almost impossible to hear the X35 system in use. I'm keep sort of looking and checking to see if it's actually on, because I can't tell with a little bit of wind that there is, and the road noise. It's very, very quiet. So the camera falling off wasn't very good, and I got a bit stressed, so my heart rate is actually quite high. Now, a few deep breaths and that should come down. Am I finding it more difficult than round one? No, it feels the same, but I am in level 2. And like I say, the silence is deafening. But this isn't hard work on the Gain at 6-7%. And I do have in reserve the top setting, which releases the full 40 Newton meter equivalent of a mid-motor. The actual Newton meters of the motor at the back, it's about 17. Somebody's worked out, and no one's really moaning about it, that that's equivalent of 40 Newton meters if it had been a mid-motor. I'd say that's fair, because like I say, this isn't hard work. So we've just got a little bit of downhill now, and then a nice little descent, but we're still on this main N420 with its impressive kilometre markers. It's a bucket list ride of mine, to ride this road to its beginning in Seville, 828 kilometres away. It doesn't cut off exactly at 25 kilometres an hour. It seems to be more like 25.6. But when it cuts off, it just cuts off bang. Because the whole of this system is an on-off system. If anyone tells you it's affected by cadence, don't believe them. It isn't. It's just as soon as you start turning the pedals, it'll give you whatever the setting is, maximum assist at that setting, straight away. So generally speaking, you know when the assist comes on, because you feel it. So obviously I'm doing about 40 at the moment, and as I start going up this grade, and the speed slows, when we're near that 25, you'll probably hear it come on anytime. Oh, it's on. Oh, it's quiet. It's lovely for that, I've got to say. I've still got it in the medium setting, which I wouldn't normally do, but I'm trying to make these rides equivalent. And of course, the other huge difference with this bike is that it's got my range extender on it. So the normal internal battery on this model Gain is only 250 or 252 watt hours. The BH is 410, but it does have to deal with a more powerful motor sucking more power from the battery. But with my range extender, it's not like the Marley range extender, which is a battery charger. Mine is another battery which connects to the internal battery to make one big battery in parallel, and it makes it up to 504 watt hours. So I've got 504 watt hours with a not very powerful motor, which means the range on this bike is huge. So even on that little descent there, it's noticeable that it's a lot easier, just because of the frame size, it's a lot easier to get into a nice tuck. So that's probably a bit quicker going down there. I'll be able to check because I've got the lap function activated, so I can see whether I was a bit quicker. Probably only a kilometre or two faster down that little slope. But it is, you know, it is more comfy on that descent. Why it's safer on the Gain isn't because of anything else, but just that mirror. It's a cat eye BM15, is it? It is the best accessory you can buy for your bike. Full stop. You can just, well, obviously you can tell if there's someone behind you and whether it's safe to come across a lane of busy traffic, but you can judge how far it is away, how fast it's moving. It's just completely natural, and it's also quite nice because it just sits down there out of the way. Doesn't look too naff, even though I suppose it's an old man's accessory. I like it. Should be compulsory. We're diving down into this little dip, and then we've got that 14% rise on the other side. So, I've got a big battery on this bike. I don't want to kill myself up this climb. So, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to indulge myself, do something I never do, and that's put it in max. I've ridden this Gain a lot, heck of a lot. Absolutely addicted to riding this bike, but I never put it in max. Got a nasty rattle somewhere. Does sound a little bit like a broken spoke. Weirdly, I think what it is, it's an old spoke nipple that I forgot to take out and I replaced a spoke last time. Anyway, up we go. You can hear the motor more now because it's trying harder. I'm doing 10 kilometers an hour. I'm in max power. Cadence is good. Heart rate 129, 130. So a bit higher than before. And it should now be down to about 8%. Still doing 10 kilometers an hour, maybe 9, 10, 10, 9, 9, 10. Heart rate 131. It's not difficult. Let's change it down. Right. 4 pushes of the button gets you into medium, down from maximum. It's much quieter, as I'm sure you can tell. It's giving me less power. It's a lot harder. There's a lot less power on these slightly steeper climbs. I would normally use medium on the bit we just did. And this is where hub motors do not have the edge. If they have an edge, well, I'm not sure they do have an edge anywhere really. Quietness. But power, it used to be lightness of course, but that BH system is actually lighter than this one. So I'm desperate to try the new Gain because they've, on the X20 motor, they've dropped the motor weight by a ton and they've upped the power. And that's of course the way that this technology goes, isn't it? You get more for less. Except for the price. Price always goes up. This is my bike. Am I happy with it climbing up here? This? Yes, I am. Very happy. I could do that. That's fine. That's the worst of the climbing of this bit done. Going up through the gears. Normally I would turn the power down now because you don't need it to get back up to 25 kilometers an hour. Just wasteful of your battery. It's the sort of thing you do after you've had an e-bike for a while. You learn to sort of shepherd it to make the most of what you have. There's no need to have your motor on the flat just because you've come over the top of a climb at 12 kilometers an hour and you want to get up to 25 a bit quicker. Why? Save it for when you need it. Oh man, this is a lovely bike. And I'm back up on this twisty road up at the top. Just loving it. It's a bit warmer now. I've had to take a layer off, so that probably will make a massive difference to my speed. But we're just coming to the top of this descent again. I'll have another go at it. Starting about here, I think. Missed it again. Starts on this bend right we're on now, not top of the hill. Okay, here we go. Push! Push! Come on! Heart rate 144. Anyway, we're getting to the top of this final climb. Do a nice little descent, and then we'll have a go at the above the assist level along that flat straight at the end. See how we get on. Go then. So the assist, well, I'm accidentally doing 27 kilometers an hour, and I didn't really notice the assist come off. So if I just want to get into my rhythm here. To be honest, this is where I need Tractor Tim in front of me. Okay, so no assist, obviously. Just going up past 34 kilometers an hour. I'm finding it very easy. There's no effort here, and yet my heart rate is climbing. It's just gone past 130. But this feels enjoyable. Flying along. Still just on the hoods. Don't really like the drops. It's a very short ride. It's going to be about 28 kilometers long. I've done just under 500 meters of climbing. The range and the battery, it doesn't matter. I've ridden this bike like I normally wouldn't. I even had it in red today. But I've used about 60% of the battery. Normally I would have used 25 doing that ride. I don't do it very often because it's a bit short. But using it like I've used it, those hills disappeared. The flat is, wow, easy. So that was what, 34, 35 kilometers an hour without any particular horrible effort. Even now we're cruising along at 28 and I'm sat up and chatting to you. So I've said it before, it's a magnificent bike. It's also a very, very beautiful bike, and that really, really doesn't hurt. And at some point I'm going to have to hand it back. But at some point I'm still hoping that Orbea will send me their latest offering, their Gain, and then we can do this same test again. So the other main differences between a hub and mid-motor drive systems is that the mid-motors generally have cadence and torque sensors which detect your level of input and match the output of the drive to yours. Now this means that it actually feels a really natural system, and it feels like you're doing all the work. With the hub drive, certainly this hub drive, it's more like an on-off system, and it detects only when the pedals are turning. And a lot of fans of the system prefer it because they can actually tell when the system is on and when it's assisting. For me, I think, well, I kind of like both. I've had the opportunity to ride both. They both have their merits, and that's true about the whole thing, the whole pointlessness of this video, because the hub drive offers you quietness, affordability in a lot of cases, and a system which, as they claimed, as Orbea claimed right at the beginning in 2017, it's just enough. It's still just enough for me, despite the fact that the BH will get you over any mountain. It is gorgeous, it is swoopy and fast and magnificent, but I still love my Gain, and I think a hub motor road bike like that has got so much to offer so many people. So it is back to me saying right at the beginning, it's horses for courses. I love them both. So really, if you want to get over the big hills and you're a big person with bad knees, or it's got a mid-motor. If you are fairly fit and you're just beginning to edge off what you used to be able to do, hub motor, more than adequate. They're both magnificent things, and you're going to love them whatever you buy. I'm sorry I'm not more help, but that's just the way it is. So until the next one, thanks for watching.